We got a special guest. We got Alex from AF Artistry in the building. We're going to have a great conversation. We getting right to it, man. Y'all already know what it is. This is the G Podcast. Y'all know what it is, man. This is the G Podcast. Let's bring in our special guest right now. Boom. Alex, the man, the legend. Appreciate you joining on this evening, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate you, my bro. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. So we're going to get right into it. For those of you who don't know, Alex is an artist in different mediums, but I want to start with like where you're born in the Bronx. I'm curious, like how did you fall in love with painting?
Since I was younger, like my father would draw, you feel what I'm saying? My grandfather was a musician. I was always around creative energy, but it wasn't until like I was about like 12, 13 years old, my cousin introduced me to graffiti, you feel what I'm saying? And I think from there, that's what really opened the door for me when it came to like my art, you feel what I'm saying? Like I got introduced to graffiti at a young age, and then from there, just kind of shifted, you feel what I'm saying? Like I did that for some years, and then it wasn't until about like 2015 so when I made that transition to canvas art, and then from there, like unfolded, man. So I would say really from early age, my grandfather inspired me creatively. My father doing the little doodles and sketches he was doing, and then my cousin played a major key into unlocking that door. So yeah.
Were any of those people in your household growing up, or what? And if not, what was your household like growing up? Like how many siblings, and were both parents in the home?
At one point, those three people were, under the same household. Obviously, my father, my father, my mother were in the same household until I was about like 9 years old, and then they split. At one point in my life, I was living with my grandparents, so my grandfather was an influence on me as well. And then as a young kid, like our family was big. All my cousins and my brothers, we all lived under one house at one point, you feel me? So I have 2 sisters, 2 brothers. I got my sister Lily and Giovanni, they in Florida. And then I got my sister Lily and Samantha. Lily's in Florida. Samantha's over here in North Carolina with me. My brother Gio's in Florida as well. And my other brother Angel's here in North Carolina. So yeah.
Word up. Like, coming down from North Carolina from the Bronx, like I'm just curious, like how would you describe what it was like growing up in the Bronx for you? Like what are some of those memories like?
It was dope, it was definitely like just different cultures, you feel what I'm saying? Like in the South it's very like, it's white, it's black, you feel what I'm saying? And then there's like Mexican, it's like a small percentage of like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and like in New York you get like all different type of cultures. So that was a cool thing. You feel me? The graffiti, you feel me? Like the constant art everywhere was a dope thing as well. But growing up, definitely like the areas that we grew up in obviously wasn't like the safest, you feel what I'm saying? So there was a balance of like the positive and the negatives. And there was some parts of my childhood that were a little scary, you know what I'm saying? But I was so young that I wasn't really in tune with like that type of this. You feel what I'm saying? It was more so my cousin and my brother that was really into that type of field. I was kind of seeing like a third person view of that type of thing. But for real, for me, man, what I really took from it was just the culture, bro. You feel what I'm saying? The environment, the whole different environment up there, bro. Like people that live in the South go to New York and they're mind blown. You feel what I'm saying? Like the energy is different, the way of traffic, the way you commute. You feel me? So it's just a lot of things. But the graffiti is definitely a big inspiration for me.
Yeah, that's crazy because like you don't see necessarily a ton of graffiti. You do see some down here, but it's definitely not as prominent, as a place like New York City, or especially I guess the Bronx.
Nah, definitely. Like out here, it's just in certain places, man. Like you can't really be out here like ballsy as like New York. You stamp your anyway. Out here it's kind of like you got to be on the underpasses or just those low key spots. You feel me? So it's definitely different, bro. It's definitely different. I feel like my art, as you can see in the background, kind of speaks to that same energy that New York has, you feel me? It's just like it's loud, it's in your face, you feel what I'm saying? It's there unapologetically, you feel what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I'm curious, like, comparatively, question from a listener here wants to know, like, I'm curious too, like, so seeing the graffiti down here versus what you were inspired by, how would you describe NC's graffiti scene from what you've seen compared to how you describe what it was like in the New York area?
Describing NC's graffiti scene to New York, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, at the core of it, man, like every graffiti community has like those spots, you feel what I'm saying, where it's just like constant mashups of just like everybody hitting that. So, there's certain points, there's certain areas here that I would say that definitely, give me that New York vibe, but it's definitely different. There's nothing compared to it, bro. Like, New York is New York. You feel like I said, everything is spread out. You feel me? You rarely find spots like that. You feel what I'm saying? It's rare that you will find like graffiti spots that are being hit, or just those. I don't know. For me, I haven't really found a lot of spots out here. You feel what I'm saying? For me to really grab the inspiration, there's just like a couple that I've seen, but it's nothing compared to like just going back home and really just soaking in all that energy, because it's everywhere. It's on buildings. It's everywhere, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So I can't really compare that. You feel me? I don't think NC has anything on New York. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So
Yeah, nah.
it's
I
not touching that at all.
mean, so I'm curious. All right, you were into painting, but then you got into graffiti. What was your introduction to the graffiti scene in the city?
My introduction to the graffiti scene, it was really my cousin, like I wasn't really paying no mind to it. Like, it was there, it was around me, but as a 12-year-old kid, I'm not really thinking about that. You feel me? And then it was just one night I was at my aunt's crib. My cousin came through and he was like, I'm about to take you out tagging. And like, I used to be geeked when my cousin and my brother was like, yo, you come outside with me, because I'm over here just a little kid, like, oh, we out. You feel me? So I had to been like 11 to 12. And we went out there. I tagged like 2 spots. You feel what I'm saying? And for me, I've always been an adrenaline junkie. Adrenaline junkies. It was just dope. It was nighttime. We out tagging. You feel what I'm saying? And then it's funny because when we got back to my aunt's crib, my dad's there. Everybody's there. Everybody's pissed. My dad's pissed. He gets in trouble. You feel me? I get in trouble. But little did they know that, my cousin doing that for me really just led me on this path for where I'm at now. You feel what I'm saying? So it's really like a full circle moment and a joke that I have amongst my family, because, back then we was like, in trouble. And then now they see what I'm doing. And it's just like, it kind
Yeah.
of makes sense. You feel what I'm saying?
So I'm curious, like especially for people listening who might not know much about graffiti. When you say tagging, like what is tagging?
Tagging is just like putting, writing your name on the wall. You feel what I'm saying? Tagging is like, like this, regular words, a couple different forms of graffiti, but tagging is one of them. It's just, you kind of just like a cool hand style. You feel what I'm saying? Your little stamp of whatever your name is, or whatever you trying to, whatever message you want to give out to the world, that's what you put up there. And then you got shit like, throwies. Throwies is more bubble styles and like, cool little font shit. And then you got like pieces and burners. Those, like the fonts and the styles change and evolve from that. Feel me? But tags is like the number one thing. That's like the first thing you gotta learn. You feel what I'm saying? Before you go out there, you can't just be going out there writing anything on the wall. You gotta get your hand style right, your style right. You gotta be unique in your own way. So.
Word. So them OG tags, like what was the like? Because I know the logo now. I'm guessing that's like a tag to some degree, like the logo that you have. Like what was the OG tag? I'm curious.
The OG tag, honestly, it was well, I can't say what the tag was, you feel what I'm saying? I can't say what, but I would say just the OG of this. It was similar to this, man, but it looked like, some kindergarten handwriting thing, you feel what I'm saying? I had 2 dots instead of 3, you feel me? And I think over time, like, I don't know, I think I just had like a vision in my head when I saw this in particular, based off what I had, initially. And that's just how that, came about. It became a stamp, you feel me? It became a symbol, to always just do what you love, you feel what I'm saying? And to do what you love, like, the AF is my initials, of course, but the meaning to that is like, always focused, or, always and forever. You feel what I'm saying? So always and forever, it's just kind of being who you are. You feel what I'm saying? Always and forever being present, always and forever growing, and just being unique in your own way. You feel what I'm saying? Like living your life type shit to the fullest.
Yeah, no doubt. That's dope. That is dope, man. Like, as a guy who grew up in North Carolina, heavily influenced by the New York hip hop scene, like I like to ask questions like this because, as you know, like I grew up in Durham. It's nothing like, say, the environment you grew up in and being around all of that. Like you said, culture. Like it's just something you can't replace. You can't take it out of the city. It's so unique to New York. You were around 12 when you started tagging. Like, at what point did it become like, nah, like I'm all in on this?
At a young age, man, like it got to the point where I had a group of friends when I was younger. I literally got all of them the tags. You feel what I'm saying? So when I was younger, we used to like go rack cans and like do crazy. This is all like 13, maybe 13 till I was like maybe like 16, 17, like I had like a, just a deep run with like doing my thing. And then, I had got into some trouble. And after that, I took like a 4-year break, you feel what I'm saying? And life happened, get into a relationship like that. But, as like life was going on, I just always felt like something was missing, you feel what I'm saying? Like graffiti was a big, part of my life. And it was like one of the main outlets I had, growing up. So not having it anymore kind of left me, I don't know, just left me searching for other things, you feel what I'm saying? And when I really got down to it, it was like, okay, I started getting the urge to go out and paint again. But obviously, it's just like, I'm not trying to be, vandalizing and doing all this crazy shit. So it's like, how do I go back, feel this free feeling, but be productive about it, you feel me? And then that's just when the canvas art came in. I got some canvases, I started painting again, and then I started using spray paint on canvas, and then, it became such a spiritual thing for me, you feel what I'm saying? Like that self-expression was such a healing outlet for me, man, and it just evolved from there, bro. That's what it was. So I would say around 2015.
So how old were you around this time when you went to the canvas?
The canvas, I was like 2015. So I don't know what's that. I'm 26 now, man. So I don't know. I can't really do the math. But
Okay, so 12. I can't do the math right now either, but it's somewhere.
I was probably like 17, 18. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, later teen. So I'm curious, cause the way, and I'm asking this too in part because of how a big part of your brand is mental health and art, and the way you just sort of describe that being therapeutic for yourself, and I'm curious, if you don't mind sharing, what were just some of the things that art you feel like really helped you cope with or saved you from at that time period?
At that time period, man, honestly, one thing, it kept me out of the streets. It kept me from doing different shit, you feel what I'm saying? Because the same group of friends that I told you I got into, I got them into graffiti, and I used to do that with them. They all went different paths, you feel what I'm saying? So this was a form of me of coping and letting out all this frustration out. And it was a form of them, it was the same thing for them as well, but they all took different routes, you feel me? Some of them started, getting into gangs, you feel what I'm saying? Hitting legs, robbing people, and doing these different things. And that kind of, this right here, kept me on a straight path of I'm not vibing with all that shit, you feel what I'm saying? This is what was for me. So that's one thing. It allowed me to heal and really pretty much identify with a lot of things that I couldn't really process within myself, when it came to my anger, when it came to my childhood traumas, and really just kind of identifying how much it affected me, my father not being there growing up, you feel what I'm saying? So it was a lot of different things, bro. There was so many things that were happening to me as a child that I didn't know how to process that. So as a young child, I was bugging out. Before I got into graffiti when I was younger, I had an anger problem. I would get into fights at school, you feel what I'm saying? I'm playing with weapons and shit like that. That's a whole nother. But that's just because nobody was telling me, how to handle these emotions. And I think art was a healthy channel. And it's still to this day a healthy channel of me processing the positive and negatives out of my life. So,
man, shout out to you because, I relate to that too a lot, man. Growing up, I shared on a previous pod, I got put in this anger management program as a kid, and that really helped me learn to identify triggers, do different things, react differently, because the way that I was going, it was definitely destructive behavior in reaction to how I was feeling emotionally. Hearing your story about art, man, I think that's important to highlight and hopefully spread the word on, because it is therapeutic. Anybody who creates, when you're in that vibe, whatever your artistic zone is, and you fall into it, it is really euphoric to some degree. It can really take you away from whatever you're facing in your reality. Hearing how art did that for you is I appreciate you sharing that. When you were doing your canvases early on, at what point did you say, you know what, I might could sell one of these joints?
Man, I'm gonna be completely transparent with y'all. This is where the hustle mentality came from. Before I even went into it full time and fully got into canvas art, I was just hustling. You feel me? And for me, I just transferred that mindset onto canvas. So a lot of things that y'all see me doing now is stuff that I learned over the years. Nobody told me about prints, website, all this shit. All I knew in my mind was I'm gonna buy this canvas for however much, you feel what I'm saying, do my thing and flip it for that. And that's just what it was. Yeah, I just kind of went into it like that. Yeah.
So early on, you were already thinking how you were gonna make your
make some
art
bread.
and
Yeah.
flip it.
Right. Because it was just like at that time, it was like it was just, bro. Hustling is not a long. It's not longevity, bro. You feel me? That's quick money. That's that you do for the moment. And for me, that just was never. At that time, I was in a relationship. You feel what I'm saying? And I was trying to do all these different things, and that wasn't giving me what I needed. You feel what I'm saying? In a sense, you feel what I'm saying? The money I was making from that wasn't really supporting anything that I really want to do long term. And it was just like high risk, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's low reward and high risk. You feel me? And I feel like with the art, it's high reward and low risk.
Mm-hmm.
And that made sense to me in my head. And then plus it was something that I love doing. This shit dope. I'm doing graffiti on canvas. I'm being transformed in a way that I wasn't able to understand, but it was making sense. You feel me? Things were in alignment. Like I was meeting people. I'm having open conversation. Like I said this in the panel talk I had a couple weeks ago. Through the canvases I made and the people that have, the people that have looked at my art and really felt some type of way, and them opening up about themselves, it bridged the gap for me and it helped me process the things within myself, because I'm like, I was just I do a lot of freestyle stuff, bro. I just build in the moment, so I'm really dealing with my emotions and I'm really like painting from my subconscious mind. So when somebody digests the work that I do and it makes them feel comfortable enough to open up about themselves and their personal life, it helps me identify and process things within myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing say if you was explaining yourself, man, and you said something that really, made you just feel disconnected to the piece, man. You open up about your personal life and it connected with me. It helped me understand more on where I was at in that time frame when creating the piece, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yo, hold up. Now, I gotta respond. That's fire, but I gotta say, I love Soul for Real as well. But can they turn that down just a tad bit?
My fault, bro. I thought that shit
My
playing in the
candy
background.
rain.
That's a classic. That's a classic right there.
Yo, and so I appreciate you talking about that, because how I've come to know of you was via, so my wife was at an event, saw your table, and then got you to produce a piece of art for her that she uses when she sells her real estate, or not her real estate, but when she helps people buy real estate, rather. She's a realtor in North Carolina. That sold sign that she gets her clients to hold up was created by yourself. Additionally, when my cousin's daughter saw a picture of someone holding up a sign, like it caught their attention of like how cool it was. So then I reached out to you and it was like, can I get that recreated for my cousins? And what would that look like, given that it was just a random sign that you created, out of the blue? That's how I remember getting introduced to you. And then upon picking up the board that you made for my cousin, I came to your location here with all the art on the wall and a bunch of cool things that you were doing. But I guess my question is, before I get to this location, is like, you were in New York, like why did you leave and why North Carolina?
That was pretty much out of my control. My mother, she was working at Wall Street, I believe, at the time when we was in New York, and then her job just moved her to Raleigh. Feel me? And it was where they moved her. She was just transferring. They was going to handle the house and all that. So when we first moved over here, she was set. We was set. We came over here, had a house, everything. We moved in like the suburbs or whatever, and like, everything was cool. So it really was out of my control. You feel what I'm saying? And that it just kind of felt like that. It was just my mother. My mother was the one that really influenced the move out here, for sure. And then shortly after, my father pretty much didn't make the move either. You feel what I'm saying? So it was really a big transition for me, because we moved to a whole new state. You feel what I'm saying? I'm young. I'm like 9 years old at the time. I really don't know what's going on. And then new school, new all that. You feel what I'm saying? And you go from the city, and the city is just like, it is what it is. And then you come out here and it's like the suburbs.
Yeah.
And it's like and trees. And it's like you can't go nowhere past your neighborhood. And it's just like, what the fuck? Right. So yeah, that was just a big transition, bro. It was a big transition for me as a kid.
So at what age were you when you came and you had to make that adjustment from the Bronx area to here?
I was 9 years old.
So what was it like adjusting? Like what, like you mentioned that, but like what, like how did you ultimately deal with that? Like was that a part of some of the I guess feelings that you had to learn to deal with? Like just
right. All that. I think, the main thing was, the main thing was my father not being there. That was like I couldn't say a lot of other things, but I think it was that, and then, being so young, and then like, my family as a whole just going through a process with the move. You feel what I'm saying? Because we had a big family, and then once that move happened, it was like the family just split. You feel what I'm saying? So now I got my mother here, being a single mom, taking care of 3 kids. You feel what I'm saying? A big crib and like whole new lifestyle, and then like she got to deal with her man not being there. You feel what I'm saying? And then we got to deal with our father not being there. So that just, it went down a whole other path from there. Yeah, so that was just one of the many things, man, that, like I said, I think it built anger, it built sadness, it built up all these emotions that I didn't really know how to cope with at a young age. So it left me doing things, just destructively, bro. Like, my anger, you feel me? Like I said, getting into fights and doing all wild shit. And, ultimately, like, not being the best son, you feel what I'm saying? Like, not being the best son, not being the best brother, it just put me in a whole other weird space. But, that I had to learn from, bro. And art really helped me identify with, make sense of a lot of these things. Art really helped me heal from a lot of these things, so.
It's important to share this, in my opinion, because I think a lot of young people, they have trouble figuring out how to process emotions. And yet at a high rate, they're taking away art programs in schools. Like, the access to be able to explore these artistic areas is somewhat limited, especially depending on your environment. So I do think it's important that, we as a community understand that that is like almost like a gift. And if you have options to put your kids in these artistic areas, like you should be encouraging that, I think, in my opinion, as much as possible for the next generation. Because as we continue to progress, I think we lose touch with being artists and creators and having that outlet. And I think you sharing this will help us highlight like the importance of having that outlet and what it can potentially do for a lot of young people that are in similar situations, trying to figure out how to deal with this anger, this sadness, and having no other way to do it with other than destructive behavior. And so
Right.
it's, at what point did you actually say, you know what, I want to try and build something and help other people with my art? Like, how did we get to a point where, if you forgive me, like, can you say the acronym of the nonprofit? But like, how did you get to a point where you ultimately got to this nonprofit where you're merging mental health awareness and art?
So basically, I just go from the beginning of me acknowledging that I want to use my, I knew from a young age that I was going to do something that was going to help, with the, just the evolution of like human consciousness. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I want to help people in that way to where they feel more free and liberated within themselves. And like, before I dove into the art, through that break period of doing graffiti, having that 4-year break and then getting back into it, I did a lot of learning. Like, I was reading a lot of books, I started on this like whole spiritual journey. And, I grabbed a lot of inspiration from different music artists like, Tupac, nah, man, I'm gonna be honest, man, Tupac was probably like a big inspiration for me because his raw energy into what he was doing in his craft and also his message, and the type of impact he had on a lot of people's lives, you feel what I'm saying? So there was that. There was like other artists like, Joey Badass and like the Underachievers and like just that whole 2012 era, you feel what I'm saying, of like rap or like that New York rap. It really just kind of shifted me mentally when it came to the music. And then it was so good because I was already on that path of reading and embarking on this spiritual journey and understanding like the power of influence and like, just I would say maybe the introduction to my awakening and my purpose. Like that was that. So in that period, I gained that type of understanding that I'm gonna influence the world. That was it was like cooking and embedded in my spirit that that's what I'm gonna be doing. Once I got to the point where I got back into my art and then, I started painting again, and then that spiritual connection connected with me and what I was doing, that's when it solidified in my mind, okay, like this is definitely what I'm supposed to be doing. Like it's part of my purpose, And I'm sorry, bro, not to it says recording error. Open the recording tab to learn more. It says that on my end. I don't know if it's showing it on your end. Are we good?
It's looking good.
We good? All right, my fault. All right, so boom.
No worries.
So it was that, you feel me? So I had that awareness. Ever since, I really went full time with my art, man. Like it's always been a healing thing, It's always been with the purpose of helping somebody understand, or just putting a mirror in front of the viewer. You get what I'm saying? Like my art sometimes is chaotic. You know, my art sometimes is like too much to digest, but like that's what life is. You feel what I'm saying? Like a lot of people like to look at life just positive, you know, blue skies, you know, but it's not like that. You feel me? So with my art, I like to paint a picture of what reality is, and but put it in a way where it's digestible for that viewer to really be like it's okay for me to address like the shadow side of myself. You know what I'm saying? So there was that, and then so I've always had that in myself to really to know that I'm gonna be influencing the world and influencing my community. And it wasn't until like, you know, I started connecting with people that I call now my brothers, and you know, the idea of having an art collective that was going to be self-sustainable has always been the goal, you know. But I was assuming that this was going to happen like years down the line after I solidified myself as an artist, and then eventually I'll do community work. But you know, for me, you have to pay attention to, you have to be open and pay attention to the relationships that you build. And this is how this came about, man. Like, you know, I had the idea in my head. I had BTM, the art collective. I met my business partner, Adrian Horton. She's a mental health therapist. That's my heart right there. And we connected, you know, randomly, and you know, not randomly, but it was an alignment.
How did you connect? I'm like, what, like, how do you cross paths ultimately, if you don't mind?
Nah, I would love to dive into. I just don't want to keep going on a rant, but so
it's not a rant. It's a podcast.
Right. It's a podcast. I don't know, man.
We here to talk. We here to talk.
My first podcast I'm on, bro. So
hey, man. Well, shout out to that, man. First of many more, man.
So we had a very genuine connection, man. So funny thing is that there was an event in Raleigh called Summer in the Carolinas, downtown Raleigh. I forgot what park it was at. So I'm vending there, I'm doing my thing. It was the funny thing I heard. She was doing an event, but that's like 3 blocks down. You feel me? But she ends up pulling up to this event thinking that that's the event she's supposed to be at. Surprisingly, they let her set up and everything. So this whole time she's been at the wrong event. You feel me? So we connect, you know, and we just start talking. We was talking all day, man. And then like it got to the evening time, nighttime, we was packing up. And when I kid you not, we talked for hours, yo. Like, and you know when you meet those type of people that just have that energy inside them, like it clicks like that, like you know this person for forever, you feel me? And that was just one of those type of situations. And like, you know, before we left, we was like, you know, we gonna work soon, you feel what I'm saying? And then I had met up with her in Durham one time just to have a meeting. You know, she was like really giving me game on like, you know, life insurance and like a lot of things on the business side that me as an artist did not know. You know, all I knew was creating my art and selling my art. That's it. I didn't know about no LLC. I didn't know about any of those things that really were going to set me up for that long run journey that I was trying to accomplish. You know, so we met then second time. The third time we met was randomly in passing. I'm in Greensboro at this event. She randomly hit me up like, oh, I'm about to be in Greensboro, you know, vending at this spot. You know, like if you free, like let's meet up. Funny thing is, I just walked into the same spot that she's about to vend at. We literally passed each other, you know, in passing or whatever, and then we ended up, you know, linking at that event. I think that third time was like a solidified event for me and her to be like, you know what, like we keep running into each other. You know what I'm saying? Things are happening to where work. And so that was that. I don't know, maybe a couple weeks later, but it was a time where I was thinking about BTM, and I'm like, okay, how do we? I got the artist collective, I got mad dope artists in a group chat, but the group chat ain't doing nothing, right? Everybody's just kind of sending their art, and it's just kind of like at that point it was dead, and I didn't really know how to go about it. And I saw this video on TikTok, and they were talking about nonprofit. You feel what I'm saying? And I was initially thinking, like, how do I take this thing and, like, you know, how do I make this a stamp to be a positive thing in the community? So when I heard about nonprofits, it was a thought. She texted me that night saying, we gotta talk about business. So I was like, bet. Call her mom. I called on the phone. We talking on the phone. First thing that comes out her mouth is, I think we should start a nonprofit. And I kid you not, that shit blew my mind because it was a thought in my head. We spoke it out loud. You feel what I'm saying? And like, so that was there, you feel me? And I was telling her about how I had a thought, and she said it. So we was both geeking on that. And she's very spiritual, you know, like I say dreams are real. And, you know, her slogan is manifestation is real. You know, she's a big believer in manifestations. We had that agreement. We talked that night, and we was like, man, like, we're going to have to think on a name, because I have Bendamon, right? She has Metamorphic Studios. And I wasn't trying to give up my name. She wasn't trying to give up her name. So how do we combine the two, right? So we was like, we probably took like a 4-day break, think on the name, couldn't think about shit. You feel what I'm saying? So she calls me, she's like, I think I got it. How about we call it Ben the Mon Metamorphic Academies? And when she said that, It just rang bells in my head, and I said, "That's the one." You feel what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
said that.
that's crazy how it just merged together like that. So, because I would some of my questions were going to be about the BTM collective, like
Right.
what has Been the Mind mean, and who are some of those artists that you're working with as a part of that collective. If you don't mind shouting out some of those names.
The collective is like an accumulation of artists, man. As far as on the collective side, we got Edwin. He's a artist out in New York. We got my homie VR. He's a music artist out in New York. We got myself. We got Tay the Shooter. He does photography, videography. We got Lanny. He's a filmmaker. You feel what I'm saying? We got my homie Jason Hampton. He's another filmmaker. You feel what I'm saying? He does photography, man. I got Leah. Leah's an amazing artist. I feel like I'm missing. There's a lot of people and I'm missing them, but it's just a group of dope individuals, man. Like the energy is there, bro. We just connect on a brother sisterhood type of vibe, and that's what that is. As far as the collective, and now when it comes to the nonprofit, we got our team members, which is me, my business partner Adrian. We got Felipe, he's a therapist. We got Brian, he does IT and fitness, boxing. He also does gaming. We got Tay, he does the photography. We got Stefan, he does art. That's just us right now, bro. I think it's just us five. We just rocking. You feel what I'm saying? That's the team for the nonprofit.
Word. No, that's dope, man. It's dope also too hearing like the background of how everything sort of came together, because I appreciate your slogan, dreams, manifestation is really all one and the same. And I came across
Right.
something where it just always stuck with me, and it's that the universe is mental and everything begins with a thought. And I truly believe that when you have the ability to then really think powerfully, you can have a strong impact. I really applaud you for speaking how you speak, having the thoughts that you think, because they're grand thoughts. Like you're
Right.
thinking on a grand scale, and that is a great that's a great characteristic, because it all starts with the thought. You
Right.
got to believe it first. I appreciate you sharing how everything came together, but you came together so what is the mission of the nonprofit? Like ultimately, like you got the mental health, you got the art, you got a therapist. Like, so what is that nonprofit here to do?
The nonprofits here, man, it's to simply, bro, break barriers. Help break generational trauma, bro. It's a place to learn, grow, and inspire, man. We want to inspire other people to, find who they are. You feel what I'm saying? Like identify with their purpose, man. Like truly, live their life, bro. We the mental health aspect is very important to us because a lot of us suffer from that. No matter the degree of it, you feel me? We all are affected by that in some way, form, or fashion, bro. So we take that very important, man. We really focus on like building a community of like-minded individuals, bro, that want to help other people. You feel what I'm saying? And really make a change in the community. And yeah, it's about growth and healing, bro. It's about growth and healing.
And you have a mental health professional, you have a therapist. Like, what are some of the services that, like, if I'm a local in Durham and I hear this, like, what are some of the services that I could maybe expect if I come across your nonprofit?
So we're gonna have therapy for the community. We have self-expression programs. We have community paint sessions. We have boxing classes. We have gaming and how gaming can be used as a form of like an outlet for mental health. We got Brian that does IT. We got Tay that does photography and video. Felipe also does podcasts. You feel what I'm saying? And he has this workshop where it's called "I Got a Story to Tell." So it's basically teaching others how to express their story using media. So it's pretty that, man. It really. I want to say it's just BTM is an outlet, man. BTM is an outlet to find who you are, to help and assist in finding who you are, and to help and assist if you already have a vision, kind of like making that pathway a little clear. You feel me? Providing some direction. Not giving you the answers, but providing direction. Anyway, whether that's emotionally, spiritually, mentally, financially, you feel what I'm saying? Like we're here to help in any way that we can because, we all needed that at one time. You feel what I'm saying? I think collectively we came together to provide that for the community so that way they know that there's a place to come and a safe space to come if they're questioning it. You feel what I'm saying? If they're questioning life. You feel what I'm saying? They're questioning their path. They're questioning their passion. There's just a safe place to come figure that out. So
That's
yeah.
dope, man. Shout out to that, man, because I've also seen, like, since I've connected with you, I've seen y'all do stuff like where y'all have kids come in and freestyle session and they're going crazy with the paint and the art and everything. So it's dope that y'all are offering these things to the community. If I wanted to take advantage of what you're doing and get to know more, like, how would I be able to do so?
Really just following us on Instagram, going to our website, you feel what I'm saying, signing up once we have the programs up, and really just staying connected with me, my team, and the nonprofit page. Like that's how you kind of pretty much get tapped in with us. We have a set program that happens every month, every third Friday, every third and last Friday. I have a community paint session. And those are the sessions that you're talking about where people come through. There's a big canvas, everybody's throwing down. And it's just a safe space. We got food, vibes, good conversation, and it's giving up a chance for people to express themselves through color, through words, you feel what I'm saying, the imagery. So,
That's dope, man. So if you're in the area, really in the triangle, and you're looking just for a different outlet where like we said, like having access to these artistic outlets even is a big challenge. It's one right here that's potentially in your backyard if you're in the triangle and you might not even know. What is the social media in the website for the nonprofit? Like the
website is BTMMA.com, and then the IG is BTM.metamorphic. Those are the two joints you could tap into.
Yeah, man. So if you out there listening, make sure you tap in, check that out on IG, and of course the website. In addition to the nonprofit though, like you also are all around the area doing like custom work for different businesses, entrepreneurs, just personal cribs. Like, just talk to me a little bit about how you've also been able to build a clientele for, I guess, what we say commission pieces, if you will.
That took time, man, and that's what I was kind of trying to say earlier with just like paying attention to the relationships that you build. I think a lot of times most of my sales do come from social media, but what outweighs that is word of mouth. You feel what I'm saying? It's my clients, my previous clients, they also spread the word, and that's how things kind of come back full circle. But for me, it was just like I said, I started doing canvas work. From there, we went to shoes, clothes, and then eventually got to murals, So I think for me, what got me to a point of growing my clientele was to focus on being a versatile artist. I do logos, I do custom clothes, I do shoes, I do walls. I pretty much, paint on anything. You feel what I'm saying? I got shoes here, I make merch. You feel what I'm saying? So that was my whole purpose, man, because, one thing I did learn through this whole process is that, this comes in waves. You feel what I'm saying? So there's times where the canvases is popping, and there's times where the murals is popping, and there's times where them is dead, and but the clothing is keeping me afloat, So really learning how to balance all these different type of avenues in my business has been like a big thing when it came to like my clientele surviving as a full-time artist, for sure.
Facts. Like you showed a couple pieces, but like let's talk about those joints, because I think that's one of the dope things about like what you offer from a merch standpoint, because you're very much like, it's not like factory printed, if you will. Like you're gonna be having the paint out, freestyling on the joints. It's essentially everything's one of one. A lot of what you produce. Can you bring that shoe up again? Like you got anything else in arm's length? I'm curious to just kind of like talk me through some of these joints here for people to see.
We got some custom shoes here, man. I got this over here. I even got like this custom crew neck, stuff like that, man. And it even took me a while to, get to this point in my artistry to understand how am I going to implement my style of art on clothing. You feel what I'm saying? My style of art into a mural. Like it took a minute for me to get to this point, but I do custom clothing. I try to be different. I don't try, like I just do my thing, and that's what's allows me to stand out from everybody else, man. I even got let me go get this trench coat.
I was even gonna say, like, at some point you should just pick up whatever you recording on and like show the people too some of the dope on the walls, cause that's crazy.
So this is one of the fire pieces I got. I can show y'all some of the walls behind me here. I did a lot of graffiti type of style. All the walls of the nonprofit is painted by me. That's back there is one of our community paint session canvases. One of our last ones, which was based around the theme of balance, and that was cool. But hey, man, I also got like custom pieces here, one-on-one joints that are for sale. So, like I said, I do a lot of freestyle work, man, and I think it's dope to do that with clothing because, like you said earlier, it's essentially giving somebody a one-on-one piece. You feel what I'm saying? And I think by doing that, obviously increases the value of the art. You feel me? It increases the value of the piece. Like my clothing brand is not just a normal regular clothing brand. It's me. My clothing brand is my brand in general is a lifestyle. You feel what I'm saying? And I just make cool shit go with that lifestyle. So, right.
Oh man, that's some fire man. I ain't gonna lie to you. You definitely got like a nice style to your art. Like it's clear, especially after following you on social media for some time, that you do have, like, from a music standpoint, as an artist, you want to have a sound, right? Like, is there, like, what would you call the equivalent? Is it just a look? Like what do you call that from a painter standpoint?
A style. You feel what I'm saying? It's a style. It's a sound. You feel what I'm saying? It's a sound with that like paintings. They basically, how I say, like a picture worth 1,000 words. You feel what I'm saying? Like painting art, expresses the unexpressed. You feel what I'm saying? Like it says what words cannot. So bro. It's just a unique sound, a unique style. For me, this is just me. This is who I am, and everything that I'm about, just pulls out of this right here. This is all like my love, my positivity, my affirmations, like everything that I want to see out of the world is there. You feel me? It may look chaotic and it may look like there's a lot going on, but it's beautiful. You feel what I'm saying? You kind of want to jump into that shit. It looks like it's filled with positivity right now as I'm looking at it.
No, man, it's definitely a dope. I really think it's a dope concept. It's a dope vision, and like, I'm definitely cheering for you to see it through to its fullest, because it's positive and it's rooted in something that ultimately can help a lot of the community when it comes to just expression, when it comes to coping mechanisms, and
Right.
and just when it comes to being fly, man. Like, you tend to feel even better about yourself when you're in your bag as an artist. Like, you just like artist, like when you in your bag as an artist, like, can't nobody really tell you shit when you just did some fly shit, man.
That's a fact, and like that's part of the reason why it's taken me a long time, and I'm still building on my clothing. But that's one of the main reasons why some people don't gotta with the art. Some people don't gotta vibe with that. But when you rocking the AF, you feel what I'm saying, or when you got that in your chest, or when you rocking a custom hoodie, you gonna feel like the flyest motherfucker in town. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you gonna feel like, cause that's what it's about, bro. It's not about, like, it's about looking cool and like that, but it's about helping people and instilling them with confidence that they never had before. Whether that's them looking at my art and saying like, oh my gosh, somebody understands me, or I can do that too, or putting on a piece of clothing like, yo, bro, I'm dope. You feel what I'm saying? Because we all suffer from some type of mental illness, bro. And a lot of times people are not confident, bro. A lot of people are insecure. And if we can be, that positive seed, bro, that I plant a positive seed in your mind that eventually grows, so you be like, you know what? Bro, I can do this. You know what? I'm leaving my job. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I'm about to go chase my dreams. Like, that's what I want to do. It's not about the bread. It's not about none of that, bro. It's just about inspiring people on the most simplest level to know that you can do that too, bro. Anything. I don't give a what it is. Chefing. You want to be a professional hiker? Go do that. I don't know. Like, but it's, bro, whatever your heart is calling for, do that. That's what this is for, bro. That's what AF stands for, bro. Always following your dreams, bro.
I like the way you word that, whatever your heart is calling for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is long as it's not heroin, that's a great thing. And it's like, no, but it's like no, because I do think, like, we grow up, we live in this society, and we often get shunned away from art. That's not a real job. Or you get grown up like, but you got to do something else other than play that instrument or draw a paint over here. It's like, you got to do some real work, and people will get shunned away from the thing that just brings them the most joy, because they're being forced to fit into this system. I agree with you, like, in that you should not ignore what makes you happy, and you should make time to commit to the things that bring you that joy that you just can't get other places. Like, and you should put barriers up around you so that you can continue to do that, no matter the relationships you establish moving forward. You can't let, like, some people stop making music because they get married, and they stop doing this because they do this. And regardless of the relationships around you, whatever brings you that just fulfillment, you can't allow the people around you to trick you into thinking that it's not for you when you just know it feels so good, man.
Right, exact, bro. And I'm glad you made that point, because I've been on both sides. You feel what I'm saying? Now I'm on the other side where it don't matter what it is. I'm rooted into what I'm doing. But before I have done that, you feel what I'm saying, I've let relationships come into play. I let family talk my head off, or like friends kind of influencing me and not pursuing the things that I love doing. But You know, I think when you have a pure heart, man, no matter how many times you might go around that fucking limbo loop of life, bro, you always gonna find yourself coming back to that door. Where, are you ready to step through it or not? You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you have to be aware within yourself enough to be like, you know what? All this shit, I'm out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's time to just be like reborn in the sense where you gonna go all in, bro. You gonna figure out who you are. You gonna like really just kind of take that time to really connect with source and get lost in the thing that you love doing, bro. Get lost in your passion, man. Get lost in the things that inspire you and see where it goes, bro. You know, there's no
Yeah.
blueprint for this shit. And that's another scary thing, bro. There's no blueprint, bro. You figuring it out. You feel what I'm saying? And
That's the blueprint. That
right,
is the blueprint.
there you go.
See, that's the thing. Like, that's the blueprint. And we
Right.
get tricked into thinking that because we don't have it figured out is something wrong, when in reality, that's the thing to embrace. You have opportunities to wake up and figure shit out. Like,
Oh,
make it a little bit better than it was yesterday, you know, inch a
yes.
little bit closer to that goal you had that's been on your vision board or whatever the case. But that's the journey, figuring shit out, because even once you figure that out, it's on to the next challenge. It's on because it never stops. It never stops, and it never goes as planned. So you never want to get complacent and ever thinking you've got it figured out, or you just know how everything is going to go, because you don't have that much control over, you know, you have control, but you have to understand that you don't necessarily know even what you're asking for sometimes. So when you get what you asked for, but you weren't ready to deal with everything that came with what you asked for, that's a different conversation. You feel what I'm saying? That's
Oh,
why I
there
say
you
this
go.
also mental, because we often get what we want. We do often get what we want, but I didn't want all that other stuff that came with it. You feel what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. That's a fact, man. But you know, all that was there on purpose. You feel what I'm saying? All that was there for a reason. And I got this quote that I say all the time: is you create your reality. I got that tatted right here. Like, it's a reminder that, like what you're saying, like every day is a chance to, you know, take a step forward, bro. Like, and once you believe that and really sit in that chair to understand that you are the creator of your reality, man. Like, bro, all that other is just, now it's just a game at this point. Now it's a game of chess, bro. Like, you wake
Yeah.
up, figure it out, and you don't really let fear or doubt really come into your mind full, because you understand that it's going to be what you make it. You feel what I'm saying? It's going to be what you put into it. Like, I can't say I want to be a full-time artist and then sit on my asshole. You feel what I'm saying? I can't say I want to be a full-time artist and then not go outside the network, or not go outside, or not even all that external stuff, but also the internal stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Like, not, you know, balance, not learn, and not grow as an individual, man. Like, 'cause, this entrepreneurship, bro, and following your purpose, bro, go hand in hand with life, man. You feel what I'm saying? Like a job, bro. You can go to a job and you work a 9 to 5 and you do the same thing every single day. This is not that. This is not that. This changes tomorrow, next week, next month. You go back to square one, then you go to level 100, then you go back to level 3. Like, it's just, you know, a back and forth thing. But if you're able to just be grounded and balanced enough to withstand all the storms and the waves, man, like, bro, it's a beautiful journey, bro. It's a
Man,
beautiful. Bro.
the way you word it, man, I gotta admit, okay, like I gotta admit, like, because like I said, I'm born in 87. What year were you
Right.
born?
96.
96. What's beautiful about what you're saying is that, like, that generation is somewhat tapped in, because I see it right here. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I do question sometimes, like, the generation after me, like, what the y'all is doing? I ain't gonna lie to you, but like, in hearing what you're saying now, I'm like, yo, mentally, I think you really understand what this is. Like, I'm just being, from my opinion and hearing you speak, like, it's impressive to hear how you speak about the reality of the journey and the importance of being grounded regardless of the tide or how the pendulum is swinging, because you have to remain steady to stay the course. Like,
Right.
and you know, like, you know, people talk, you know, this is so then we going, you know, so because there's a story about, quote unquote, Moses, right, walking through in the Red Sea just parts, right? Now, what
Mm-hmm.
you believe and what you don't believe, you can say whatever, but I think the real takeaway in that sort of story is similar to what you just described, in that when you are grounded and you are true to your purpose and what you are connected with, the obstacles get out the way. There's nothing that will stop you from moving forward, even if that is seemingly a big sea of water. You just go. Like, you don't be fearful. When you know that's what you're called to do, you gotta fucking do it, and you don't let nothing get in your way. And you have embraced that at such an early, in my opinion, an early age. That's impressive to see, and I hope that we have more of that, you know, as we continue to grow. And I hope we have more peers who think the same, because that is the way to embrace the journey, how you described it, man. You got to be grounded, and you got to be ready to weather whatever storms come your way, because you know it's just a part of the journey.
Right. You said that so well, bro. You said that so well, bro, because it wasn't even about to get religious with anybody, nothing like that. But yo, bro, like really understanding the true meaning of, you know, some of these stories, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I think we all have a little bit, you know, of that energy in us, bro, of that spirit in us, man. And you, like I said, bro, I couldn't say that any better, bro. That was a perfect analogy to use, bro, on some real shit. But I appreciate that word.
No doubt, man. Hey, you know, it's the G podcast, man.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
You already know how we get it in, man. You already know. Like,
man, that was beautiful, yeah, bro.
I appreciate that. So look, man, as we get ready to close out, I want you to like, because people listening, they're gonna get a preview of some of what you're doing with the walls in the background, the merchandise. Like, if I'm not even from North Carolina, how can I get some of your art? If I want you to make a custom piece, how can I reach out to just get a commission, something? Like, how can I find your products and what you offer for sale?
First things first is that you can hit me up on IG. Message me. You can like look at my gallery that's on there. That's how you
and
can
what is the
contact
IG?
me.
What is the IG just for the people?
It's Alex_BTM. So that's ALEX_BTM. And then second, my website, you know, afartistry.com. That's AFARTISTRY.com. That's where I'll have most of my merch, most of my canvases, stickers, all the little stuff that you can buy that's supporting my brand. And if you want like an original or a custom piece, like I said, you hit me up on IG, you contact me directly, and we'll get you squared away. That's just what that is right there.
Word up. Word up. Young brother, I appreciate you. Like, stay the course, keep putting in the work. I'm excited to see what the nonprofit grows into. You know, just throwing it out. I'd love to get some of your business partners on here too, to just talk more about mental health therapy and just, you know, I don't want to say normalizing it, because I think it has somewhat been, I would say, bastardized to some degree as a marketing ploy. And I think that from my standpoint, especially for the kids, man, like, I know what and how beneficial that was to have those resources at that young age, and how that helped me progress through my adulthood. And I do have a personal mission to help generationally people who are in that area where they don't necessarily have access to resources, or their family doesn't necessarily have access to the right resources to help them go to the next level. And I think highlighting a nonprofit like yours is a great first step in doing so. If you're in the area, again, can you shout out the nonprofit's website and social media just one more time, so just for the people listening?
So the website is BTMMA.com. And then the IG is BTM.metamorphic. That's how y'all can contact us and be involved, you know, however y'all want to be involved with, you know. That's how you contact us, bro.
No doubt.
Yeah,
all right,
man.
Any last words for people listening?
Man, look, man. I'm an example. My team an example. You an example. You feel what I'm saying? I want anybody that's listening, anybody that's going to tap in and watch this, man, to understand that, you know, you create your reality. You know, anything you put your mind to, you can really achieve it. You feel what I'm saying? If you really believe it, man. You know, you're not alone. You feel what I'm saying? You know, it's okay to be vulnerable with your emotions, man. It's okay to express yourself, man. Here at the BTM headquarters, man, that's what we provide. You know, we provide a safe space for y'all to do that, man. So y'all never give up, man. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all stay focused on y'all dreams, man, and understand that dreams are real. You create your reality, man. Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in, bro. I appreciate you having me on this, man.
I appreciate you joining the podcast. We're going to close it out right here. This is the G podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and everything else. Shout out to the homie Alex for joining us. Shout out to the BTM Collective. I can't even get the whole acronym right. MMA, right? BTMMA.
Facts. That's it right there.
This is the G Podcast. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Till next time.
Take a no talk back. See you,